I just wanted to mention real quick, just so you see this. I haven't put all of it out there yet, but we just finished Chapter 13. I came in here yesterday in the morning. I did a lecture on the PowerPoints for Chapter 13 on, the PowerPoint stuff for Applets. And then I just went over the book kind of slowly myself. So that's in there, and I've also done the same thing for Chapter 15, which is on recursion. I'm not going through Chapter 14 in this book, which is another way, other than using Window Builder, it's Java FX, that you can also go and write GUI apps, and I'm not going through that chapter. There's not enough time. All right. The other thing I wanted to mention to you quickly, just so you see this, as of right now, probably, that's not it. So I grabbed the wrong one, so let's see if I can grab the right one. Oh, give me a break. I know it's in there someplace. There it is. All right. For the 167 class, which I know you've already taken, all right, but for spring, right now, unless I come up with something better, that might be the book I'm going to use. All right, and we're going to go through Angular, JS, JavaScript, and jQuery. Now, I've asked this question before, but not directly, and I'm not asking it now. All right, but I have a feeling, and this is no slam on Jim, that probably you didn't get a boatload of stuff out of the jQuery class when you took it. I'm not saying you didn't get anything. I'm sure you did, but he was not given a good book. Plus, he found out very late he was going to teach the class. All right, and that was what do they call it? A bone of confusion, or whatever the hell it was. I ended up getting into a big fight with the people who are in charge here. It had nothing to do with him. It had to do with the fact that I'd already laid out the course. They were like, well, then just give it to him. No. Okay? No. I'd done a whole ton of work. I'd written all these programs and stuff. And no, I'm not going to do that. I'm tired of doing that. All right? So this is a book, if you wanted to, and you could take a look at it. You go out on Amazon and take a look at it yourselves. But we could use this book for the 164 class, the Design and Implementation Projects class. Now, a lot of the stuff that I'm going to have to go through slowly with them, you probably already know it. But this is just something else that you might want to think about. All right? You go, geez, I don't know. Okay, fine. I said you might want to think about it. All right. So I'm going to jump back over into here, and let's take a look at the code. Previously, show you these. Let's see. Okay, last year what we did as a class was we made this. All right. All right, and now that I'm looking at it, John, I was kind of wondering. Nope. See, I don't know where it is. When I tried to bring mine over this year, that's what happened. But John said, geez, I didn't have any problem with mine, and he didn't. All right, but I just decided to heck with it. You know, I don't have any problem with us doing or not doing an applet. I really don't. All right, I will know because now what we're in week, is this five or six, whatever. By the end of this month, you're going to do course evaluations, and they're really, really getting on our case about these. So in other words, one day when I come in here, when we're supposed to have lecture, we will have lecture, but we'll take the first 15 minutes, and I'll ask you to do evals for all the classes that you have with me, and I'll leave for those 15 minutes. All right, John can pick them up or just put them back there, whatever. That's fine. All right. So let's take a quick look at this. You'll notice as we start looking at the code here, there's minimal comments. Oh, that's the wrong one. There's more comments because that's mine. All right. All right, so this is the one that you have. Okay. In fact, I'm going to even close that. Close that. There you go. All right. So this is that house program. As mentioned, you're typically going to be importing at least these two, and quite often, if you're going to be doing any work with buttons or whatever, the awt.event.star. So again, as I mentioned to you before, if I import this one that you see on line 4, I automatically get java.awt.event, but I do not get this stuff. All right? That's why a lot of times what you'll end up seeing in Java files, literally people have imported 20, 30, 100 different packages. If you don't believe me, just wait until we start getting into some of the Android stuff and you'll see it all over the place. All right? All right. Again, as we talked about, extends JApplet. Here, there are 3 Boolean variables. Again, I use the author's. This isn't mine. I'm not going to lie and tell you that it is. But the author was very self-descriptive. And when you think about it, when we saw our picture before, you've got 2 windows and a door. And they can be open or they can be closed. Again, we're signifying open and closed by being a black or not black type of an idea, okay? But that's what he's using here, okay? All right, John mentioned, and he's right, that there is, when you work with applets like this, and we talked a little bit about it with the GUI stuff, that there's a component, a method you can call that's called set size. And when you call set size, you can give it parameters. You can tell it how high and how wide you want your window to be. All right, and the applet will be inside of that window. All right, he didn't do it in here. But you'll notice that he's got private final, so these are all constants. And as it says, they're used in determining the sizes and locations of the house, the roof. When he says the house, it's basically, it's the foundation, or that big rectangle that you see, the roof, the windows, and the door. Now, did he have to make them like this? No. But setting it up like this, and then, for example, the door, the X and the Y components, you'll notice that there is math that's being used in here. And again, when I've had students do this in the past, you've had to maybe not use that math, but you had to use something similar to that. And typically what would end up happening is 1 or 2 people would figure out how to do it, and then they would help everybody else. And I didn't exactly have a problem with that. When I say help, I don't mean they'd give them the code, but they'd explain to them what had to be done. All right? And I mean, part of the reason that, you're in a program like this, that you have classes like this, etc., is you have to do a little bit of thinking on your own. They talk about today about thinking outside of the box and that kind of an idea. All right, so here's our init. All we're doing here is we set our background color to white, and we set up a mouse listener. Why? Because remember, this whole thing is predicated on you taking the mouse and clicking either the windows or the door. All right, here's the paint method. Again, you cannot call this, but you can put any code you want in it. Virtually 100% of the time, the first line of code that you see in any paint routine is this. And what that means is call the parent's paint routine and have it do anything that it would normally do by default for you. Okay? So we draw the outline of the house and the outline of the roof. All right, so in other words, it's drawing all that without the windows and without the door. That's what draw house is going to do. Okay? Then, as it says, draw the correct windows and the correct door. So if it's closed, draw window closed. Otherwise, draw window open for the left and for the right and for the door. Does that make sense what he's doing? Since it's in Paint, anytime you click on either window or on the door, Paint's going to automatically get called because you're sending a signal to the system that the interface has to be redrawn. So what we're doing in here is, again, we tell it to call its parent, draw the house, and then draw these windows accordingly. And you notice if you ran it or took a look at it, that basically it's instantaneous. So as soon as you click the button, if it was black, it becomes unblackened or vice versa. So again, as it says, the draw house just draws the outline. All right. Again, the big rectangle and drawing the roof. Okay. You could go nuts and do virtually anything you wanted to do in here. With this example, it's about as simple as possible. Okay? And when I did mine, literally, mine didn't look much. Mine looks like that, except it actually is square. I liked it better square. I did the same stuff he did, and I also put a little chimney on top. That was mine. Not like much more. And I can't find it right now. I was going to show you, and I think I've mentioned this to you before. If I can find it, I'll put it up there. That one of my students did, he went out to Architectural Digest, spent 8 hours and drew his. It's a regular, it looks like something that would be in a magazine. And I asked him, I said, can I have that? He goes, not the source, but he gave me his class file so I could run it and show people. And all the rest of the stuff, it's pretty much the same thing in here, the door open, the door closed, etc. All right, then we get down to the mouse listener. And again, what's the mouse listener doing? Notice the code is here, it's in the click event. Is everybody cool with the fact that if you look at this line here, that's in blue, or that line there that's in blue, or that line there that's in blue, we're toggling. We're saying set it equal to the opposite of what it was. So if the windows look like they do on the screen, so if they look like this, and you click it, make it black. You're just toggling it back and forth. That's about the simplest way to do this. And you'll notice after you've done that and you click the mouse, you call Repaint. Because again, you can't call Paint. And this is in left window, is in right window, as it says. Returns true if the point specified is inside. So in other words, if I click here, nothing's going to happen. But what we're doing is in the left window and right window is we're saying we should be able to be anywhere in there. Doesn't matter. We should be able to click anywhere in there. And it should change from either blackened to unblackened or vice versa. All right, and that's what he's checking in there for the left window, in there for the right window, and in there for the door. And you'll notice that as it says here, end of inner class. So all that stuff that's in here, that's, remember, one of those private classes, all right, that is put in there inside of our public class. All right. Questions on that? I mean, it was a real very, very general description. I get that. All right. So you don't have any homework on this. The rest of the period today and Thursday will be lab. Hopefully by the time you come in here on Thursday, I'm saying hopefully, if I don't have everything graded by then, it will be graded this weekend. I've told my wife she's got to go away for a while by herself. All right. I did that last weekend, but it didn't work. All right. She said, yeah, I'll go away, but you're coming along. So, all right. Questions? Yes.
Yeah, you're talking about for grading with like the Joe's Automotive and all that and whatnot?
No, I'm talking about grading for Java. The first one that you had was the one with the exceptions.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I've got some of those graded, but not all of them. I got to finish those, and then I won't grade the Joes until it's not due yet.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. So you're not going to have a lot of assignments in this class. You know, you've got these two, but anything that we do in the Android class that we do as a class, I'm going to ask that you do it. And even those of you who are, taking the class from abroad, so to speak, or whatever, you're going to have to find some way to do something. Because otherwise it's not fair to the people who are coming on a regular basis and are doing the work. Any other questions? All right, that's all I had then.